CHGO White Sox Postgame Show, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app today and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Welcome into Studio B of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Alongside me in studio is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter at ActorWall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader, and we'll be joined later on today by our CHGO White Sox beat writer, Vinnie Duber, who is currently out at Guaranteed Rate Field. We're being produced today by Stephen Nicholas, our guy, ESPN Steve. We appreciate, CHGO Steve.
That's much better.
Now that you're here. Very, very excited to have the Josh Harrison hater on board with us. Perfect day. Did Josh Harrison do anything today? I don't think
he scored a run. I know he scored a run too.
There you go. Oh, he did score a run.
He was mad about the strikeout.
That was an important run. That was the fourth run, which led then to the fifth run, which made it a Phillies over. Which that was the best part of my day. We are coming to you live after a White Sox loss.
But of course,
shocker, 5-2. Herb, the White Sox still have not won 2 games in a row,
correct,
and they still have not won a series in 2023.
That's not good. On my expert analysis, I would say not winning games in a row is bad for your health, and also losing all the series except for one, where you tied that one, not also good. But remember, I told you yesterday, if you guys are watching after the White Sox won that game, I was like, bet the Phillies, because the White Sox haven't won the 2 games in a row, and they haven't won a series. Double whammy for the White Sox, and Mike Clevinger did not perform well today. But, yeah, it's the same old stuff with the offense, too. As I told you last night, same thing. Yesterday, scored 4 runs in 1 inning, did not score any other inning. Yesterday night, scored 3 runs in the first inning, did not score any more. Today, same thing. Andrew Vaughn gets the home run in the first inning, 2 runs to take the lead, none other after that.
And Taijuan Walker was cruising.
Yes, he was.
After that first inning. The only time he had trouble, when Andrew Vaughn was up. Thank you for putting up this comment by Tony Baseball LLC, because Tony Baseball LLC is the greatest company in America. If you go to the list of all of the LLCs out there, Herb, Tony Baseball would be ranked the best name for all of the LLCs. But I had this tweet pulled up from Tony Medina at Tony_Baseball_. And here he is in the chat giving me the same content. So thank you, Tony. But he wants to make you puke, Herb.
Okay.
Phillies bullpen versus the White Sox during this 3-game series. 7 2/3 innings pitched.
Okay.
24 batters faced.
All right.
12 strikeouts.
Not good.
No walks.
That's good for them.
1 hit. And no runs. And the only hit was a Elvis Andrus weak infield single.
That happened today, right?
Yes.
Oh, God. And they weren't good coming in. Them and the White Sox and Oakland were like battling for some of the worst bullpens in baseball, right?
They were walking everybody, and they came here and didn't walk anybody.
They got right.
Fuck that shit.
Sending the Phillies off like, hey man, I know you guys have been struggling, but we got what ails you. We got what the cure for what ails you, Phillies. White Sox hitting, not patient, no walks, 1 hit, and here you go. A bunch of strikeouts. Even Craig Kimbrell came in twice and looked like the old Craig Kimbrell too. They fixed him. White Sox, good job.
Well, let's go to your tweet real quick. You tweeted out this to promote the show, and you said, the White Sox are a bad organization that are in need of a change.
Yep.
They lost yet another series, and their big free agent pitcher signing only lasted 3 innings. It has been only, let me just do my math right. It's 7 and 12 now.
They're 7-12,
so it's been 19 games
correct,
into the Chicago White Sox 2023 series, and your feelings are?
They're a bad team that has to have maximum effort to be a good team. That's not a good recipe for success. We already knew about it. The White Sox need to be healthy to actually do anything in the Central. They're healthy. Eloy Jimenez is healthy. He's just not hitting the ball. He's lost. He's in between. He's been like that the whole month. Even though he missed a decent amount of time with the injury he had, he can't hit. And I am surprised in this 3-game set where Gavin Sheets had shown you this weekend that he can hit a home run, which he did, his first home run on Sunday, get on base. I think he has a 400 on base percentage, and he's hitting 300. He didn't play any of the games. They faced the first 2 right-handers, and they didn't get Gavin Sheets into either of those games. And that's really, really bad for Pedro Grifol, for whoever's doing the lineups. That has to change. This man has to be in the lineup a little bit more because he's actually giving you lefty power that you're not getting from a lot of other players on the team, including the $75 million man, your man, Andrew Benintendi. I know it's more my man. Oscar Colas is 1 home run. No home runs today. Same thing for Yasmani Grandal. And, of course, Yoan Moncada is on the IL for right now. So, yeah, this is a bad team until further notice.
Yeah, well, truly until further notice, and we'll keep being here for you at the CHGO White Sox podcast. If you are watching, we really do appreciate it. We just got our 15th like, so hey, if you're watching and haven't given us a thumbs up just yet, we would really appreciate it. We got over 121 people hanging out with us in the chat on our YouTube page. We're getting closer to 30,000 subscribers as well, so make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. Let's go to our quick super chat here when we get a chance, but Steven is being bugged
by the goddamn Joey's in here talking about Joey. Things and stuff.
Damn show, Joey.
Get out of here, Joey. Spat this.
I bet, yeah. Could you go to super chat, my man? You're all good. Joey, it's Joey's fault. Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
And he said his dad's name is Tim Taylor.
Look at that.
That's awesome.
Shout out to John with the super chat. Do we win a series in April? Tampa away, Toronto away, Tampa at home. The White Sox will not see a quote-unquote bad team until Cincinnati, but shit, Cincinnati has been hanging runs on people, so I don't know if the White Sox would fare that much better against Cincinnati. Do they win a series in April?
This is the weird thing. Like, the best team they're going to play is the Rays this weekend in Tampa. Even though I said all the stuff that they are a bad team, the White Sox are, without any argument, a bad team. Watch them go out and win 2 out of 3 versus the damn Tampa Bay Rays for no damn reason. No reason at all. But I wouldn't be surprised if they get swept by those people, go up to Toronto, lose your 3 up there, and then come back to Chicago and lose your 3 to the Tampa Bay Rays. Yes. No, they're not going to win any of those damn series.
Small sample size, but they have played up to their competition. Just the Astros, they split that 4-game series. Maybe we'll find out they are better against
Phillies
better
just
competition.
In the World Series?
Yeah, but they're not the Phillies of last year without Bryce Harper.
They still hit their ass off, though. They can hit.
Yeah, I know.
That Bryson Stott thing is a thing. Brandon Marsh is a thing. I mean, they bat JT Realmuto 6th. What a luxury. In a lineup without, like we said, Rhys Hoskins is on the IL for the year, and Bryce Harper's still coming back from his Tommy John surgery. They got JT Realmuto as a 6 hitter. It's just an embarrassment of riches on their offensive staff, and their offensive players actually do the job. Like, we would be complaining if we're Phillies fans that Castellanos has 0 home runs, but he has a bunch of doubles. Like, he's still getting the job done, putting bats a ball. Like, I wish I had the Phillies offensive problems where they're not, hitting home runs. Like Trey Turner's home run today, first run of the year. And like I said, Castellanos still hasn't got off the schneid, but that team is just a great offensive team. Now, Taijuan Walker and Wheeler's a little bit better, but that pitcher last night, Bailey Falter, no damn good either. And the White Sox should have attacked all these guys, and they did not.
And again, what we saw for Walker, what we saw for Falter, them getting into the 7th inning, and just the White Sox going up and being aggressive, just not walking again for the Chicago White Sox. And it is just not a recipe for a good offense. I don't understand it. I understand that Pedro Grifol in his first year wants this offense to be aggressive, but they were aggressive last year. They put so many balls in play. And yes, there's a little bit more doubles today. There was a home run from Vaughn and a Robert Jr. home run. 2 of their 6 hits were extra base hits. That's somehow better than last year, but only walking twice, only getting 8 guys on base this entire game over 9 innings is pathetic. It is it's disgusting to watch. I hate watching this team. And Tina up there had a point where the White Sox can make any washed up all-star look like, or any washed-up pitcher look like an all-star at this point. That was last year too. I mean, losing 2-1 to Bo Brisky for when you had Dylan Cease on the bump against the Tigers. Like, let's go to this matchup against the Rays real quick because we brought up, can the White Sox win a series in April? I think if there's one way that they could win it, it's with their pitching. You have Kopech on Friday versus Colin Foucher.
That sounds like
Colin Foucher.
That sounds like a shutout pitcher.
It sounds like a Tampa Bay Rays pitcher.
Yep.
Then on Saturday, you get Dylan Cease on the mound.
Okay, who are they facing? Rue McClanahan?
That's the bad thing is, they're facing Shane McClanahan. So they have their ace while you have your ace.
1-0 loss, yes.
It's a lefty, but we just saw the White Sox face a lefty with extension in Bailey Falter, and he only cranks it up to 91. Shane McClanahan cranks it up to 97, and he's got elite breaking ball stuff. They're fucked. And then on Sunday, Tampa Bay, I know that they're a very unique organization. The White Sox will throw Lance Lynn. Tampa just doesn't have a starter. I honestly don't think they're going to field a pitcher. I think that they're going to have 8 guys on the field.
That's fine.
I think that's the strategy.
I mean, they'll probably out-hit the White Sox and definitely out-pitch them. I think they're just going to have some of their players just throw from second base and throw over the plate because they know the White Sox are not going to hit it over the fence.
That's the thing is they're going to have all of their infielders hold a baseball, and you don't know where it's going to come from. They could either pitch it from third base, second base, shortstop, first base. Kevin Cash has done a lot of rule book reading, and he has dug deep and figured out that they can play 8 guys as long as all 4 of their infielders hold a baseball. I have no faith that they'll go onto the road and have success. However, they haven't in the past 2 years had any success at home. 40-50 at home over the past 2 years. 40-50.
Yeah,
so I mean, them going on the road, I guess, is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, at least on the road. I think last year didn't they finish at least close to 500 or it's somewhere near 500 because they were a much better team on the road than they were at home last year, if I recall correctly. But Tampa is also
on the road, they were 44-37. At home, they were 73-44.
Yeah, so they're over 500 on the road. So I'm not expecting anything. Going to Tampa and going to Toronto is not good for the White Sox, especially Toronto. Early April, going to Toronto, usually a 4-game set. I think it's only a 3-game set this year. That's going to be a loss. We have nightmares there. We have nightmares in Oakland. Tampa sucks too. It's a bad team with nothing on the horizon where you're like, yeah, there we go. That guy's coming back, or we got this coming back, or we're going to, once the weather warms up, the weather's been fine. Today wasn't cold at all. The Phillies were comfortable, very comfortable at the plate, enjoying the weather.
It's the White Sox, again, just being over-aggressive, and, they put some decent swings on the ball. Andrew Vaughn had another deep ride out to center field, but it just didn't leave the ballpark. It's just not good enough. And again, you got to make those shots and those kind of attacks hurt more. We saw Jake Berger hit a 3-run homer, and that felt really comfortable for a bit until the game ended 3-0. We needing to have guys get on base is so crucial for this team. You need to make every single threat. Whenever you have that threat, because they are so few and far between, you need to make those absolutely hurt. But we even saw last year it took them until July to hit a fucking grand slam. I think they have a shot when they go to Toronto. We'll preview this with KPW, our very, very smart Toronto fan, our Canadian correspondent, as we should call him. But they have Chris Bassett, Jose Barrios, and Yusei Kikuchi on the bump in that 3-game set. Chris Bassett has been absolutely horrendous this year. I understand get right game, White Sox, LOL, so fucking funny. He has been bad, period. All right, he has been bad this year. So Jose Barrios has been one of the worst right-handed starting pitchers. This is that's the thing is we can't cut this fucking team excuses. Yeah. Do you know what? I don't want to laugh. It's just so fuck this team, man. Fuck this team.
Yeah, it's just hilarious. Like they have that schedule where people are struggling, and it's get right time. You don't think that Jose Barrios is man, who's on the schedule? White Sox, let's eat.
The White Sox should be doing that. Pedro Grifol should be putting that up on the damn menu each and every single night, being all right, here are our next 5 meals. Colin Foucher, Shane McClanahan, TBD, Chris Bassett, and Jose Barrios. The Astros can do it. All these other damn teams that go up and face Jose Barrios can do it. Why can't us? It's just frustrating. And also, you have the experience against him. You've seen his ass. You've seen his ass when he was good in Minnesota. Now he sucks in Toronto.
Yep.
Hammer him.
Should, but I just don't know what they're teaching up there. I said that old habits die hard. The whole Frank Manquito, Tony La Russa thing from last year is still on this year. So after a point, there has to just be, okay, this is Pedro's team. Pedro needs to inspire these guys. The hitting coaches need to inspire these guys to do better. They are not walking. Again, this is the second year in a row that they're not walking at all. It is so low. I think their walk percentage is somewhere around 5. It's some real garbage that you can't score runs if you're not going to be walking, and they don't get enough hits either. So their runs are coming off of home runs, solo home runs, 2-run home runs, all in the same inning. Like 4-0 versus Pablo Lopez, 31 pitches, no more runs after that. That's continuing theme for these White Sox. It's like, relaxing. We got our 3 runs. We're good, guys. And then the other team just comes back and catches up to them and passes them by.
Hey, you want to play a little game? It's basically name the AL Central. These are teams with 46 walks or less in 2023.
Okay.
The Detroit Tigers, the Minnesota Twins, the Chicago White Sox, the Kansas City Royals, the Colorado Rockies, the Miami Marlins, and the Arizona Diamondbacks. And even the thing too, I mean, like with Miami, we just know that, yeah, they're not walking a ton, but they're an extreme contact team. They also have stolen a ton of bases. I think they're at 14 this year. They're a speed contact team. I guess the White Sox are up at 14 stolen bases now after Elvis Andrus, but even then, it just doesn't feel like they threaten enough. And I mean, I think I heard the stat from Jason, Vaughn's like 8 for 15 with runners in scoring position, but outside of that, like no one else is doing anything with runners in scoring position.
Who's getting on in front of the people before? Like I was having a problem with Jake Berger and his positioning in the lineup today. I think it was either 5th or 6th. I'm like, that guy's hitting most of your home runs right now. Put him up a little higher before Eloy, who's not hitting any home runs right now. Put him up in front of Yasmani Grandal, who's not hitting any home runs right now. If you got your RBI guys and RBI opportunities, put them in there where they can actually do damage. Because, I mean, I think Berger has 5 home runs, but only 10 RBI because of the position that they put him in, and no one's in front of him when he's hitting these home runs for the most part. So I think that the White Sox just need to come with a different approach and with better players. And we can't just keep on waiting for Yoan Moncada because, as Vinny will tell you, he's not coming back this weekend versus Tampa. His back is worse than we thought because remember, when he was sitting down for Minnesota, it's like, oh, it's day-to-day. Then on that Friday, oh, he's on the IL. Now when he's eligible to come back, no, he's not ready yet. His back is still hurting him. It's like, when is he ever going to be ready? We can't keep on waiting for Yoan Moncada. We can't keep on waiting for Eloy Jimenez. We cannot. This is frustrating. Those guys are out. They're out. It's like they're done. And Eloy's not hitting when he's in, so we need to just do something different. Like, pick names out of a hat and fucking just see what those guys can do because this offense, not doing it. The pitching, for the most part, has been good, sans today, starting pitching, and the bullpen's been crap for the most part. So
bullpen was fine today.
It was fine today. It still gave up runs. I just need for this White Sox team to not continue going down the road of, man, it's April. We are fine. Show some urgency. They said they showed urgency last night. No urgency today. None at all.
Well, they got out to the lead and they're like, oh, we're done.
Yeah.
We won. Yay, we won.
See, we got the Taiwan Walker.
Mike Clevinger's going to save us. Jesus.
I was surprised that they took that dude out after 3.
Oh, that was pathetic. We'll talk about that in just a second. You brought up just the hitters real quick. Let's just hammer this, and we'll finish it. We'll take an ad break, and then we'll talk about the pitching performance today. Yikes. So our guy Andrew Benintendi. These are players, and this was before today's game. And Andrew Benintendi in today's game had exit velocities of 88.8,
not good.
84.9. I mean, they're not even high enough to be radio stations. And he also had an ugly strikeout against Taiwan Walker as well. I loved hearing all the stuff like, oh, top of the lineup. You know, someone on the NBC Sports Chicago had him as their click to pick, and it's like, oh, you know, that's what he's paid to do damage against righties. We definitely know, and I ranted about it yesterday. We know he can't do damage against lefties. Yeah, he saw one ball. It was in the 27th at bat of the game. I think probably the 3rd inning, his second at bat of the game. He saw one ball in the actual zone, and it was a called strike. And then everything else, he somehow saw one actual ball in the strike zone and somehow struck out. Glad we paid $75 million for that guy. Players with at least 200 pitches faced, ranked by lowest average exit velocity: Andres Jimenez, 83.4, Oscar Colas, Chris Bryant, Colton Wong at 83.8, Alex Call at 84 miles per hour, Charlie Blackmon, Victor Robles at 84.3 miles per hour, and Andrew Benintendi and Joey Weimer at 84.5 miles per hour. Yasmani Grandal has a higher exit velocity than Andrew Benintendi, and I was bagging on that guy for his back, for his 34-year-old back that's been barking for 2 years. And the man that we just gave $75 million is more geriatric than the guy with back problems?
It's something that happens when you get over here to the White Sox. You have a good year before you get here. You're like, man, here we go. The Jeff Keppinger disease. Then you get over here to the White Sox. You're like, oof, man, I forgot how to hit a baseball. What is this? Like, I don't know. Is that pitch good for me? No, let me swing at it. That's the White Sox way. He is not the player that was promised 19 games in. Now, he has a lot of time to not be the guy. He has a 5-year contract, but this is disappointing for Andrew Benintendi. If he's a $75 million guy and the highest paid player in White Sox history, or as a free agent, he has to be better than this. Same thing goes all the way down the lineup. Like, Luis Robert has been good, and he stung the ball today. But when these guys are on the rest of the roster are not hitting, got to take upon yourself to be better than he is. So it's just the same old stuff that we've been talking about for a year plus. And I wish these people, and I wish Rick Hahn spoke to somebody other than sycophants and Rick Hahn bots, because every White Sox fan that I've ever talked to this year and last says this is unacceptable. This is crap. So many people in here, and when I put the picture of the stadium being half empty, they closed down the upper deck. People are like, well, it's a Wednesday game. Oh, no, they're going to be fine, Herb. I'm like, shut up. It's like real teams fill up their ballpark no matter what day it is. Cubs are going to fill up their damn ballpark. So are the Pirates. I was at a day game. They're going to fill up their damn ballpark. If you play well, they're mad at their owner just as much as we're mad at our owner. So stop the excuses. This team and this organization is just bad from top to bottom. And there's something in the water. When you come over here, you just become part of this bad organization. You just become this, and you can't do the things that you did before as a Yankee or as a Red Sox or as a Kansas City Royal. It's just a White Sox curse. Maybe homegirl put some curse on the White Sox too. Oh
man, no, I don't want to get into that whole ordeal in your 108 section, in your empty 108 today.
Yeah, all those people had to work.
Yeah. Well, they're fine, blue-collar working people.
Yeah,
hey, we got our guy Beef Loaf. You were sitting in his section. He loves the shirt. Appreciate the super chat. Don G also with the super chat. Not going to lose any sleep on a bad team. Hope my Sox turn it around. But if it's not time to clean house, but if it's not, it's time to clean house in the front office. I agree. Hey, we were saying that all last offseason, and then we went through the offseason, and they signed 2 bums, and one's a bum
off the field.
Bums, both bums. I just feel bad putting Benintendi, because Benintendi seems like...
Yeah, he seems like a genuine good guy.
Seems like a bad baseball player.
He's a bad baseball player over here, but I know you didn't want him before the White Sox signed him. You're on record to saying, out of these left fielders, right fielders, I don't want him.
And this is why Brett Gardner was on the Yankees for 14 years. This Andrew Benintendi love and all this stuff. That's why Brett Gardner was employed, because he could get on base. He'll hustle. He'll play great defense in left field. I mean, Romy Gonzalez can do that, and he's a second baseman. A final super chat from Husky Bardo. Heard they are having a team meeting. Any way you can ask Vinny. Hope better days are ahead. Well, Vinny will be joining us in just a second. We're going to take a quick break.
As Ozzy said, horseshit teams have team meetings. Good teams win.
Hey, honestly, at this point, I would rather Ozzy be the manager. It'd be more entertaining.
Yeah, the post-game press conference would be awesome. He'll MF somebody. Some fights would happen. I'm sure him and Clevinger would already have gone to blows.
Vinny would have just been swearing left and right just because he's quoting Ozzie Guillen. Vinny would be going on profanity tirades just because he's being a big J journalist and making sure that he's quoting it back very, very accurately to us. Gonna take a break. Let you know about Pins and Aces. I know our guy Steven was trying to hit the links in his Pins and Aces gear, and he just got completely booked out of his course. Couldn't even find a tee time. Pins and Aces, the official golf apparel partner of ALLCITY and CHGO. We love our Pins and Aces gear. Our guy Steven gets tons of compliments on and off the course when he could book tee times, and they are a family-owned business, golf and apparel business, and they make amazing polos, hats, golf bags, and even our favorite beer sleeve. It's an innovative product that allows you to store 7 beers right inside your golf bag and keep the drinks cold the entire round. Your Goose 312s come in a 15-pack. Buy yourself 2 beer sleeves. Put 7 in one, 7 in the other. You got a beer in the hand as well. Steven, I know you just ordered some from Pins and Aces.
I got a beer sleeve, but the thing that we should be talking more about is, have you guys heard about this liquor stick they have?
No.
It holds,
it's a family show.
Hey.
Liquor stick. Come on now.
It holds 750 milliliters of liquid, which in my case can be alcohol. It looks like a lemon stick, fits perfectly in your bag. I'm bringing it to Scottsdale with me for my trip. And I'm excited about it because, none of the Rangers going to know there's any liquor in there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they got some good products. And beer sleeve and liquor stick, we're ready to go.
And you can check them out at pinsandaces.com and use code CHGO to receive 15% off your first order and get free shipping. So whether you're, again, and if you have kids watching, if you're ordering a liquor stick or if you're ordering a beer sleeve or any of their amazing polos, hats, and golf apparel. That's pinsandaces.com. We also want to let you know about DraftKings Sportsbook. It's NBA playoff times. That means big hoops action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Get in on the excitement of every game with the touch of a button. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet and score $150 in bonus bets if their team wins. Plus, everyone can score a no-sweat same-game parlay every day during the NBA playoffs. Open the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and place a same-game parlay on any NBA game. If it doesn't hit, you get a bonus bet back up to $10. I don't have an NBA play tonight. All right. I think if anything, no, I do. I lied. I do have an NBA play tonight. It is the Heat +8. I'm not sure if Giannis was cleared or not for this game, but it was +6.5, and we liked it then. So why not just take it at +8? If you don't like that, take the Lakers on a pick'em. How about that? Let's change it. Nope. Grizzlies on a pick'em. It's the DraftKings pick of the week, okay? They play better without Morant at -110. That's the DraftKings pick of the week, okay? Download the app now and sign up with code CHGO. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet and score $150 in bonus bets if their team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 1-800-327-505 or visit gamblinghelpline.ma.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-4700. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and specific state responsible gambling resources. Let's go out to our friend Vinnie Duber out at Guaranteed Rate Field. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber, and you can check out his work at ALLCITY. He has an article up at ALLCITY about last night's game where the White Sox kind of felt like, even though it's early, they need to prove it. What was the tone after today's loss? Or not prove it, but
that it is after every loss. They're it's quiet as a mouse in there. That's just kind of how it goes. In baseball, you could be the hottest team in the league and you could lose a game, and with no music and everybody getting dressed to go home and packing up for the road trip. That's usually what the mood is.
And maybe not prove it. Prove it was the wrong one, but getting the things rolling. All right, and obviously today another loss, not getting stuff rolling. Let's maybe start with Clevinger. I know some people were just a little bit confused at him getting taken out after the third. Did Pedro give any response or reasoning, whether it be injury or matchups?
It was the 44 pitches that he threw in the third inning. Apparently, that is a deal breaker for Pedro Grifol in terms of letting a pitcher go back out there. Just too many pitches in one inning, and taxing pitches too. I think we heard from Tony La Russa a lot last year. He would explain that certain pitches are more taxing than others because you got guys on base, you got long counts, you got all that stuff. So it was a very heavy workload in that inning. Even if you look at 44 and say, well, that's not quite the 100 that I'm used to seeing a starting pitcher go, it took a lot of work for Mike Clevinger to throw those 44 pitches. So that's what Pedro said, is that after 44 pitches in one inning, that's it. Clevinger wanted to go back in there, but he wasn't going to let him.
How was his mood after the game, Mike Clevinger's, after getting taken out after 75 pitches in 3 innings?
Yeah, he wasn't happy that he didn't pitch very well or, very efficiently. Obviously, only giving up one run in an inning where you throw 44 pitches and put 5 guys on base is something. But, the bad pitches that you make to give up the home runs in the first couple innings, that happens to basically every pitcher out there. You make a mistake, a major league hitter is going to punish it, that kind of thing. That third inning is where you put all the focus, in my opinion, for Clevinger's outing, just because it was walks, it was hits, it was not being able to close the door on that inning. I think the last 3 guys that loaded the bases, that was all with 2 outs, if I remember correctly. So not a good inning, and it cost him the rest of his day.
Yeah, absolutely. One guy that had a nice day, a fine day, maybe even could have had a bigger day if the wind was blowing just a little bit more out, was my guy, Andrew Vaughn. I don't know if you spoke to him after the game, but it seems like he is at least clicking a little bit more. I don't know if Pedro's kind of talked about Andrew not homering and then finally getting his first one today.
Well, it's funny. That was a line of questioning before today's game was about Andrew Vaughn not homering, and Pedro was like, I don't care. Pedro was basically like, I'm not worried about it at all. He says the same things we've heard from White Sox managers past, which is the goal is not to go up there and hit home runs. If you're a hitter, the goal is to go up, have a good at bat, and try to see good pitches, try to get the pitcher to throw you your pitch. And if you do that often enough, the home runs will be there. That's the philosophy, not just for Pedro Grifol, but for a lot of managers and a lot of hitting coaches that we've heard from. So while, you think that home run hitters are going up there trying to send the ball 400 feet every single time, that really is just not the mindset of a major league hitter. And it can often, have a detrimental effect if that is what they're trying to do. So, Pedro was talking about how Andrew's got the kind of power where you sit here and a week from now he could have 4 or 5 just because, it comes in bunches like that. And he said, and all the talk that we're doing right now could be probably nonsense. So, obviously casting a big spotlight on exactly how little he cared that before today's game, Andrew Vaughn did not have any home runs. Now he has one, and you can call it a monkey off his back, but I don't think anybody was really thinking about it too much.
It's a weird thing, Vinny, because, again, they did the same thing they've done multiple times. This whole series, they've scored
4 games in a row, Herb.
Yeah.
4 games in a row.
I know they see it, but is there any solutions to this? Like, why? Like, it's just happening after. And you said 4 games in a row. It happened last week with Pablo Lopez, too. It's just like the bat's not, wearing pitchers down. What's going on with the offense, and what did Pedro have to say about this offense just not doing their jobs?
Pedro has said a few things, but mostly he said that he's confident that it's going to turn around. That's the main thing he said, but he has pointed out that they're not, he likes to use the phrase shrinking the strike zone, which is the same, which is a different way of saying the same thing that Tony La Russa said all year last year, which was that they're chasing pitches outside the zone, right? And, there are a couple guys on this team who are doing a better job of that, but team-wide, it is not really gotten much better in that regard. Sean, I'm sure you can provide some or find some numbers that show exactly what the differences might be between last year and this year. But in terms of the problem that is keeping the offense slow here over the last week and a half, we'll call it, has been, according to the manager, has been the tendency for these guys to not to expand the zone and to swing at pitches that they shouldn't be swinging at. Aggressive hitters are supposed to be aggressive. You're not going to coach that out of some of these guys, but from a team-wide situation, it's not going the way they want it to right now. And there are other things in there too, but I don't think it takes a genius to look at the walk numbers and see that they're not very high, and know that this team is probably not being or making the opposing pitching work as much as they should. We saw a couple really quick innings from Taijuan Walker today, and we've seen that really over the last. You mentioned Pablo Lopez over the last week and a half or so. So, it's not going good. I think you can point to some of these big innings as like, hey, at least they're doing that kind of thing. But to have an uprising once a game and then the rest of the game is just complete silence, it's no recipe to win. That's for sure.
15 of their 19 games this year, they have walked 3 times or less. I know you brought up at least a little bit about Pedro's kind of philosophy about he wanted the hitters to be aggressive and talking about expanding their zone. Did he talk about maybe reeling that in a little bit just because it seems like this team needs to walk? We even saw it in the game yesterday. Jake Berger gives them a 3-0 lead because Luis Robert's able to draw a walk and they're able to get guys on base and make that threat just even more damaging, having it be 3 runs instead of 2. Do you think that maybe that's the focus going into the Rays series is maybe making sure that they control that strike zone?
I mean, it's something they're working on. They are working on trying to shrink that strike zone, to use Pedro's phrase. You know what I mean? I think he wants them hitting and he wants them swinging away. I don't think it's going to be a team that's going to go up there and keep the bat on their shoulder, but I think that the idea is they're leaning a little bit too much in the opposite direction. So they need to be a little bit more Goldilocks about this and find something that's just right for them. But I don't think right now you're seeing anything close to what this offense is capable of. And it seems to be them hurting themselves a little bit in that regard.
Well, this is a little question for both of you guys, and I don't know who wants to take it first, whether that be Herb or Vinny. But we talked a lot about last year and heading into the offseason, Andrew Vaughn replacing Jose Abreu. Mm-hmm. And I just see another game like today where Andrew Vaughn isn't the problem, and he really wasn't the problem last year. And we talked about the other guys needing to step up. Yasmani Grandal still seems to be a little bit slow with the bat. Yoan Moncada now dealing with back soreness. I know you have an update on Yoan. Tim Anderson on the IL. Eloy Jimenez trying to ramp up back from the IL. Luis Robert has been all right, hit a double today. Yep. But again, even Andrew Benintendi, the outside signing, the $75 million man, everyone else really isn't picking it up. So it's not even the first base. This isn't because Jose Abreu left. It's not because Andrew Vaughn's not able to replace him left. It's the issue is exactly what we thought this issue might be for the 2023 team is the stars that they went out and got extensions for aren't producing right now, whether that be because of injuries or, just slow starts.
And I think that's why the White Sox fans hold out hope, because otherwise you're seeing a bad team. That team out there, the White Sox are throwing out there, is a bad team. You are what your record says you are. But the holding out of hope is we know, or they think, that Eloy is better than this. He has to be. He's not garbage like this. We saw that happen in the second half. Same thing with a lot of the players. But talk sheep. Show it on the field. I'm tired of talking about what if, maybe. They got to hit 90th percentile. This is who they are. Until further notice, Eloy is a singles hitter. Until further notice, Elvis Andrus cannot, man second base and give you a good bat. All these players right here, except for Andrew Vaughn, Luis Robert, you didn't see Gavin Sheets the whole series. That's a shame on their part. If you're struggling with offense, get offensive players out there. Jake Berger's doing a great job, but he can't field it worth a lick. So, there's a lot of things wrong with this team, but until they actually show that they're worthy of the praise that we have heaped on them before this season and still think that they can do it, I'm just no, they're just who they are. Their average says what they are. Their ERA says what they are, and I'm going to believe it. I'm staying positive. I'm thinking that maybe they can eventually turn around, but 7-12 is shrinking that positivity into a little ball right now. It's so frustrating watching this team because they're not that bad.
Yeah,
or maybe they are.
I mean, Sean, you bring up injuries, and you're like you said, the core guys aren't doing it because of whatever reason. Well, yeah, Tim Anderson and Yoan Moncada aren't even out there right now, so there's that. Eloy Jimenez has been tough since he came back from the thing, but I mean, again, this is a guy who just had the best second half in baseball, or one of them last year. I mean, I don't think you can go out and say that he's nothing right now. He's just slumping, you know what I mean? But those slumps, again, what was the story last year? All those guys were slumping at the same time, and that can't happen, right? And if it keeps happening again, the White Sox are going to be in the exact same position that they were last year. So this is it's a bothersome start. Of course it is. Obviously, the record says that. You don't need me to tell you that. But yeah, they're not playing very well. It's just a matter of those things not getting lined up. You know what I mean? I mean, look, what do we come into this series talking about? The bullpen, right? bullpen was fine these last 3 games. They gave Jimmy Lambert gave the 2-run homer, and they got the 2 runs today from Banks. But other than that, bullpen's been fine. So again, it's not necessarily this like a season-long example of something being terrible, but they cannot have a day where 2 or 3 things are good at the same time.
Well, but it also seems like too, it's like it's not just like a small problem. Like before this series, the bullpen was a massive problem, ERA near 8, whatever. And then the offense, like it was a minor problem heading into the series. And then exactly what you bring up, like it's not really Jimmy Lambert's fault they lose that game 7-4. It's the fact that they score 4 runs in the first inning and then can't score from the second to ninth inning. And that's a massive problem throughout this entire series that we saw continue. So it's like, we saw the starting pitching kind of be the problem out in Pittsburgh a little bit. They didn't score any runs on that Sunday game. So that
in San Francisco, it was pretty bad.
San Francisco as well, yeah. So like I don't know. It's just it seems like whenever there's a problem, it's not just a normal small problem. Like it is a huge capital all caps problem. They're
playing bad. There's no doubt about that. I don't think anybody is trying to convince anyone otherwise. They're playing bad right now. They do have the ability to not do that. But they aren't doing it. And I guess, Herb, I to what your point was, I think you do have to look at the calendar and say, you can't judge this season in mid-April. That's ridiculous. But that being said, you can't say that they're giving you any reason to think that they're going to do anything differently other than, well, the players' names look good on paper. Right? Yeah. Because they do look good on paper, and that should give people reason to think that they are going to turn this around or play better than they're playing right now. But that's basically the only reason you would think that right now, because the play that they've had through about 20 games here is just not happening. It's just not doing it. There's no way that you can have a team contend for even a division championship when it's just, oh, well, every 7th outing by a starting pitcher is good, and the bullpen every other series is good, and the offense will win 1 game even though they're only scoring in 1 inning. It's not good. They're playing pretty bad right now.
Yeah, and I'm sure they see it. Rick Hahn sees it, and I know general managers, vice presidents of baseball operations are usually patient, but I don't know, is Rick or Kenny, do they think they are more in the mood of, okay, this can't continue to happen? I know the other day he said he was relaxed and that fans, are more negative fans that Paul Sullivans and such have been quoting. But do you think that he also is like, man, it's the 2nd year in a row and I know it's only April. You come back from this 7-game or 6-game road trip with Tampa and Toronto. He's like, maybe some things need to be moved around. Somebody needs to be benched or something else has to happen, because if they keep continuing down this road where the play doesn't improve, they can lose this division in April easily.
Well, I don't think they're going to act, I wouldn't say out of character. I don't think they're going to act in that way.
Yeah,
because I do think that they are patient, and I do think that they know what their job is, which is evaluate the team that you built. It's not, you can't judge it in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. It might take 2 months to figure out exactly what they need to do. That being said, I know that Rick always says that they're the ones pacing and swearing around up in the box. I mean, man, if you guys don't think that they want this team to succeed, you're dead wrong, kind of thing. But here's what I would throw back at you, Herb, as I jostle my iPad to try to get in the frame here. What's the fix, right? What did they do? Well, this is the team that this is the team that they've been building since 2016.
I kind of want to follow up with you, Vinny. Like, I mean, you have to have a rope because you just hired Pedro Grifol and a new manager, right? Like, you can't go out making, any huge drastic changes because you just gave the keys over to Pedro. I feel like it would be pretty short to make changes after April.
Yeah.
Well, they're not gonna do anything to this coaching staff. They just hired him. Right. But I think the point is, what can they do from a player personnel standpoint? They just spent the offseason doubling down on this exact same roster. And I don't, and again, I don't blame them. That's fine. If they thought that was the way to go, then go right ahead. These are the guys that you picked over the last 7 years to turn this team into a contender. If you still believe in them, that's fine. But here they are doing the same thing that they did last year.
Yeah.
Well,
so what's the fix? What's the fix?
I don't know if there is one, but they're baseball minds, and hopefully somebody in that baseball world with the White Sox has something, a suggestion that they can do different than what they're doing right now, because it's just frustrating for everybody to watch. I'm sure more for them to watch, again, the same things going on. But, yeah, they've doubled down on their offseason. I didn't like the offseason, but like you said, Vinny, I understood their offseason. I understood what they're doing. They believe in their guys bouncing back from a bad year. And they thought, like I did, and other people who are listening, watching, that this can't happen 2 years in a row. Shit's happening.
Well, but they have no choice. The only choice they have is to run it into the ground. I picture Rick Hahn and Kenny Williams in the cockpit of a plane right now, and basically like the engine is sputtering on them. And basically they just need it to kick in before it crashes into the ground. Because what are you going to do? You spent $70 million on Yasmani Grandal. If he's not good, what are you just going to cut him for $18 million? You're just going to have to hope that he's good. Andrew Vaughn, you really can't move him off first base because you just got rid of the franchise face after 10 years to have him play that position. We're having the discussion about Jake Berger. You know, where can he play? He's the only guy actually producing offensively right now, but you can't put him at first because Andrew Vaughn's there. You can't put him at third base because Yoan Moncada's there and he makes $75 million. I mean, you can't put him at DH because Eloy makes 43 and he can't play right field. I mean, and you can't play left field because the $75 million man's out there. And you have Robert, who's making $43 million, but it's him and Vaughn can't do it by himself. Yeah. And TA's on the injured list. So TA's been great, but again, he was here for 8 games, and he hits the IL.
With your analogy, I would have went with Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, I didn't watch that movie.
Oh yeah, that was like 5 years before you were born.
Sean's saying you're all being too kind. Boycott's the fix. That's for the fans. How do they actually fix the team? How does the front office fix the team?
And that's not good. And that, I mean, if you feel like boycotting as a fan, that's your thing. But I don't think that's going to solve any problems. Jerry's not going to be like, oh man, there's no one here. I'm good. Here's a lot of money for you. No, he's going to be like, you guys don't support the team, so I'm not going to spend money on the team. Why would I? If you don't want to go to the game and don't want to get Jerry money, that's understood. Game Time's got you hooked up too.
Hey.
Already doing a read.
Oh, look at that. We do have a Game Time ad. So why don't we take a quick break and then we'll rejoin our conversation with Vinny. Want to let you know, though, about Shady Rays. Take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at an affordable price. Herb was wearing his Shady Rays out at Guaranteed Rate Field today. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn. They have durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us that they will send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. Wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. And if you don't love your Shady Rays, exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back. So exclusive for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code CHGO for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized shades. Try yourself these shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Also, Herb brought it up. Game Time, if you are looking to get into Guaranteed Rate Field, Chicago, they had Pat McGann on, and he's going to be doing some comedy at the Chicago Theater. If you're trying to get into that show, maybe a concert. I'm going to the National in May. Buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful, and Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy your tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. They have killer deals on last-minute tickets, and their best price guarantee. With their best price guarantee, you could stop stressing out over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. You used their best price guarantee. You went to the ATL, Hotlanta.
I did.
Got some tickets, saw tickets on a different price, hit up Game Time, and they give you your money back quick.
Gave my $46, which was the difference of my ticket between the two sites, and 110% extra.
Absolutely. So snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the app, download the Game Time app, and create an account. And use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for 20% off. Download the Game Time app. Game time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And our friends over at FOCO, they will get you fitted in the best sports gear around. They have hoodies, shoots, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. The TA one that we have that's wearing the City Connect, which would have been more apropos today since they wore that in back-to-back days, even though TA is in the IL. They sent us that lovely, lovely bobblehead. They have Luis Robert Jr. out there as well, and Andrew Benintendi, Arkansas Razorback one. They have every single thing, and since it is baseball season, they have Aloha shirts, straw hats, polos, bags, everything you need for a game. So check out FOCO.com or click the link in the description below for all non-presale items. Use the promo code CHGO for 10% off. All right, Vinny, we talked a little bit before you joined about when the next series the White Sox will win is. They have 3 games in Tampa on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Kopech versus Colin Foucher, Dylan Cease versus Rue McClanahan, Lance Lynn versus TBA. They got 3 games in Toronto, and then they got 4 games against Tampa to close out April at home. They even got 3 games against Minnesota at home as well. Do they win any of those 4 series?
Great question, Sean.
Oh, boy.
Tampa's really, really, really good. Toronto's really good. You saw what the Twins did to them last week. It's a great question. I would say yes, just because of averages and numbers, right? You know what I mean? But you know, we look at these things, the matchups of the teams in the moment, right? And the White Sox are playing real bad right now. The Rays are playing real good right now. So yeah, you wouldn't like their chances. But again, this happens all the time, right? Where what was it last year, right before the Sox played the Dodgers, the Pirates went out there and swept them or something like that. This is baseball. It can happen all the time. So I would say that they'll probably win one before the end of April just because that's numbers, you know what I mean? But yeah, if you're trying to get me to say how good are they looking right now, the answer is they're not looking very good.
Yeah, they're not going to win one of those series. Tampa's the better team twice. Toronto, we always have our nightmares up there in Toronto. And Minnesota has shown that would be maybe the one that you can get because Minnesota, I don't think, is any great shakes, but they've shown that they're a far superior team than the White Sox so far in the short 19-game sample size. But, yeah, that will be the one that I would think the White Sox would like, okay, familiarity, and also we're playing a team that I don't think is that great.
I cannot find a season within the past 20 years of White Sox baseball where they haven't won a series.
In April?
Yeah, I mean, like, even then, they were
Saw
really...
on Twitter earlier today, someone found 1997.
1997. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm on 2001, and even though this team was 7-15, they swept the Cleveland team in early April. So I mean, even the bad 2001 team, and even though they went 83-79, still got some shakes there. So yeah, I mean, it's been me years old since the White Sox have not won a series this early in April. It's just been
You're born in
absurd.
97?
I was.
Oh, wow. I'm feeling really old. I knew you were young, but damn. Like,
My bad.
My whole high school career was before you were born.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the White Sox didn't win a series then until May 4th when they took on Anaheim. So I guess it might not be until Minnesota comes to town. That's just we'll see. Minnesota. Vinny, we do want to get a little bit more of an update on Yoan Moncada. I know there's a little bit of news on what's going on with his back.
Yeah, I mean, he's just so maybe we didn't go over it over the weekend because we didn't have shows on Friday and Saturday, but they put him on the IL on Friday. It was retroactive to earlier in that week because he sat out that whole Twins series, obviously. He was being bothered by something late in spring training, so I would imagine that is post World Baseball Classic. It was okay enough for him to play at the start of the season. He had a very awesome start to the season, as you saw. And then there was a check swing in Pittsburgh that kind of brought it back. And it didn't get any better. He fought the White Sox. He wanted to play through it. And they said, just sit out. Let's try to get rid of it all the way so it doesn't bother you the rest of the summer. And that's what they're doing right now. But we don't know when that's going to be. The hope, Rick Hahn said, was it would be on the upcoming road trip, but I'm not sure it's played. It doesn't sound like it's played out that way. He very likely will not be back during this Tampa series because even when he is cleared to play, he'll probably require a rehab assignment in the minor leagues. So we'll see. It'll be an ongoing thing, but the update right now is the earliest you would see him back with the big league team would be Toronto, but that might even be, off the table just because he's got to go down to the minors for a few days.
And Vinny, I don't know if you know this right now because they're not traveling tonight. They're having their ball. Is he going with the team to Tampa and to Toronto, even though he's expected not to play this weekend in Tampa?
I don't know. Usually those guys will, unless something is imminent. You know what I mean? Like if he's going to go on rehab assignment here, before they go to Toronto or something like that, then yeah, maybe he wouldn't. Obviously, Toronto is its own animal with the international travel and all of that. So, but yeah, I don't know.
And the only reason I asked is because I think his back thing start flaring up in Pittsburgh on the road, and then happened in Minnesota where he sat out. And I just recall the times when Anthony Rizzo missed time as a Cub. He would just be always in Cincinnati, and the beds there would just, exasperate the back problem that he had. That's the only reason I asked, is like staying at home, getting the treatment here in Chicago, and also not exposing yourself to different bedding in different cities, because that does exacerbate some type of back problems on different people. Sometimes you need more of a softer cushion. Sometimes you need more of a firm cushion, and hotels don't have that all the time.
Can you ask Yoan Moncada what's his sleep number?
He should.
Sure.
Yeah. Take it on the road with you.
Can we, speaking of home cooking, I don't know if you saw this stat. Jake Berger and Gavin Sheets have hit, I think, 85% of their career home runs at Guaranteed Rate Field. Could you ask them why or how, or like what's up with that? 12 of 14 Berger's career home runs have come at the G rate. 23 of 27 of Sheets' career home runs have come at the G rate. What is that? 35 of 41 home runs have come in one place.
It's wild. I mean, I guess the odds say that you play the majority of your games here. That makes sense. But I'm sure Sheets was asked about it a bunch last year, because didn't he went? Did he go the whole year without hitting one on the road or something like that? So, or maybe all but one on the at home. So I'm sure that their answer would be, it's just one of them things. But hey, it's supposed to be a hitter's park, right?
Hey, it is absolutely, and we saw a little bit of that, but not a ton. Got a couple more stats, but I mean, I think that's about it, Vinny, for you. I know you had a long day yesterday, so we could let you go, and then I'll berate some people with some stats. But anything else you got for us before we wrap up this weekend? We do have an off-day show tomorrow as well, so we can save our thoughts for there as well. But anything else final that you want to send in from the G rate?
Not that I can think of today, but we'll obviously have plenty to talk about tomorrow. This offense is a thing. The bullpen is going to remain a thing until they put a few more games together. And then obviously Jake Berger, we got to keep watching that, because he was on base again today. Didn't have a hit, I don't think, but he walked. So,
yeah.
He's going to, he has not done anything yet to convince anybody that he doesn't belong in that lineup. So.
It was a nice walk, too. Worked a full count and everything. The final thing, too, we did have a super chat that was wondering, I'm assuming you would have brought this up, that if it was a thing, but was there a team meeting today for the Sox?
I don't know.
Okay.
Not one that I heard about.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go. Someone wanted us to ask you if there was, and we asked you, and you gave us your answer. That's Vinnie Duber. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer. He has a brand new article up at ALLCITY talking about the near no-hitter for the White Sox and them trying to get things into gear. Hopefully they can win the first game against Tampa and then keep that momentum going. We will join everybody tomorrow with an off-day show, and Vinnie will be there. Again, make sure you follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. Appreciate it, Vinnie.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
Later.
All right. And here come all my stats and me getting dorky. We don't need to. Vinny's a hardworking journalist that, he doesn't need to hear all this stuff. So let's go to some of these Andrew Vaughn stats first, because boy, oh boy, coming into this game, Andrew Vaughn, and I brought it up earlier about how he's kind of the same person. And I understand he just hit his first home run today. Frank Thomas said those come in bunches, so I'm not massively worried for him. But now, and this was before game 18, so actually I think I have his updated splits as well, so I can not be obtuse and give you the correct up-to-date stats. But right now, his line, 273, 385, 424, coming in today with an OPS plus of 110, which is exactly where he was last year. His OPS before today's game was 749. It is now above where it was last year. I know it's only 18 games, but he really does seem like he is getting into a groove here. Let's flash his last 5 hits. His last 5 exit velocity on his hits: 109.3,
That good.
105.4,
That's radio station.
101.7,
Bad.
102.8,
Awesome.
109.4.
Not a radio station.
He had a fly out today, 106.2. That had an expected batting average of 930. They've traveled 404 feet. Would have been a home run, I think, in like 12 of 30 parks. And he had a single that, again, was 109.4. So, I mean, he just tore the cover off the ball today. Seemed like he really saw the ball well. Seems like he's been seeing the ball well consistently. I'm very excited about Andrew Vaughn. I know he had a slow start, not getting his first home run, but he's walking a ton more too.
Yeah.
I mean, 9 walks to 13 strikeouts. I mean, he's nearly a walk to strikeout ratio player. I knew he had a great ability to command the zone, and it seems like if anyone's commanding the zone well this year on the White Sox, it is Andrew Vaughn.
I need him to do one thing for me.
Oh boy.
They say that hitting's contagious, right?
Oh, that's true.
Just cough out the rest of the players' faces. Just right in their face. Don't cover your mouth. Cough right in Eloy's face. It's like, okay, you're contagious now. You got what I got. So start hitting you bum. Come on. Because, yeah, the man is stinging the ball. Once he hit that ball today, everybody knew in the stadium, 2,000 people that I was with at the stadium today, knew that it was gone. I was like, all right, Trey Turner hit his first home run of the year. Andrew Vaughn said, I got you too, kid. And he murdered that ball from Taijuan Walker. It's good to see that he's finally putting bat to ball, logging on. But you said before this, he was already hitting, and the only thing that he hadn't done is hit a home run. And I said yesterday, like his 400 on slugging percentage is pretty good for a player that didn't hit a actual home run. Now he has one, and now it's jumped up a little bit. But I see him and Rue McClanahan seeing themselves on Saturday, and he usually stings the left-hander. So let's go. Andrew Vaughn's going to be killing versus him. And who's the guy on Friday? Foucher. Get a voucher off of him.
He'll tear up Barrios.
And then
I know
TBA.
that for sure.
Man, he always kills TBA too.
He'll tear up Chris Bassett as well.
So we need more hitters to be powerful and to sell out.
Well, and real quick, Fly the Dub making a good point. An OPS of 749 is nothing to brag about. Well, it's 809, and that's why I was bragging about it.
Yeah. So now what's going on, Fly the Dub?
I'm not.
Jerk.
I'm not in a good mood today.
Yeah. We don't need any of your Cub nonsense
I gave it updated. Oh, is that? Oh, that's why he was being.
Yeah, we don't need your Cub
Fly the
nonsense in here.
Dub. That makes
Childish
sense.
stuff. Get out of here.
That's on me. I didn't mean to that's on me. My bad. But yeah, I don't know. He just seems like he's really controlling the zone decently, and I'm excited for him. Hopefully it's contagious though. Hopefully Jake Berger likes hitting in the trop. Maybe we see Gavin Sheets, but those two can't hit home runs away from guaranteed rate field. So I don't know. I mean, where's Yasmani Grandal? I thought you guys weren't worried about his back problems. His back.
I'm not worried about his back
legs
problems.
going numb, but no, he's fine.
Bad.
He worked out with a goaltending coach.
Yeah, he's fine. Is Eloy got a back problem too? It's team wide.
Well, Yoan does.
It's team wide. People are bad because they put the White Sox gear on, immediately turn bad at baseball.
You want to talk about another guy who turned bad?
Who?
Mike Clevinger.
I mean, he didn't turn bad. He's always been bad.
Hey, yeah, I know, but all that stuff came out once he got signed too. So I mean, it just seems like once he signed with the White Sox, all the bad news started coming out. Today, Mike Clevinger went 3 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 6 hits, 1 K, 1 walk. Taijuan Walker in 6 1/3, 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 3 Ks, 2 walks. And shout out to Jake Berger for drawing that last walk. It was pretty decent. Mike Clevinger on the day, he had 4 whiffs, 9 called strikes, and 1 walk. It's a called strike plus whiff percentage of 17%. Major league starter average is 29%. 17% is horrible. He was not fooling anybody. His stuff looks bad. He is basically a fastball slider pitcher. And I think I saw one decent slider that had nice biting action that really, died into the other batter's box to the same-handedness hitter. Mm-hmm. I don't know how he's going to get guys out. And if you are going up against a non-patient team, I think he'll get some swing and misses. But you saw this Phillies team be extremely patient against Lucas Giolito. That's why he, was knocked out by the 6th inning. We saw Lance Lynn give up a decent amount of walks and 10 hits, and that's why we saw Mike Clevinger get smoked. And as Vinny brought it up, 44 pitches in the 3rd inning for Clevinger. So, yeah, I mean, just a rough day for him.
Rough day, and maybe he's Matt Latos Jr., where he started off really hot, 6-0 White Sox was Matt Latos Jr., and then just fell off the table immediately. I don't see anything from him that says that he's a top pitcher or he's the pitcher that had the sub 2.5 ERA before he came into this game. The Phillies treated him as they should and hit him really hard. I was very shocked that Pedro took him out after 75 pitches in only 3 innings of work and only giving up 3 earned runs. But Pedro said that the 44 pitches he threw in the third inning, way too much, and he didn't like it. And I saw in the third inning they were warming up Tanner Banks, and if he didn't get that last guy that he did get out, Tanner Banks was going to come in the third inning and get the job done for the White Sox, which, I think he gave up 2 or 3 runs. But that's not the first time Tanner Banks has pitched for the White Sox this year. I think they also probably wanted to get him some game action before the weekend.
Tanner played against Baltimore.
Okay,
Baltimore. Through in that 10-inning final. I don't know. Just Clevinger, he's not it. I don't see anything that really seems exciting about the pitcher that he is. Seems like his fastball's gained a little bit more of a tick, but will that be consistent? I don't know if he's hitting 95 come June. Like this might be real ugly real soon. And I don't think that there is fixing with him because, again, like, you can't be a 2-pitch pitcher in today's baseball in today's game. Like, you just can't. And his stuff doesn't really have deception. It's, can you hit his fastball? And Phillies did that today.
Oh, they hit that pretty well. It was awesome.
0 whiffs on his fastball.
Just a bad pitcher, bad outing today. I don't know how he's going to get fixed. And they, as you said, have to run him out there. To DFA him, yeah, they have Sean Burke and maybe Tanner Banks, and they can bring up dude from last year. I'm blanking on his name right now, but that's not a great solution. The starting pitcher. Thank you, David Smartin. They can bring up Dart if they wanted to, but is that a solution? Eating $12 million, that's a solution again? We can't keep on doing that. He needs to pitch better. I'm not rooting for the guy, but when he pitches, I want the White Sox to win. That's not necessarily him to do well. I want the team to win, and that he didn't give a team a chance to win today with his 3 innings pitch.
Shea Fidel bringing up, Clev still got a better ERA than Kopech, Gio, and Lynn. Lynn has not looked good, but Kopech, if you take off that first start, he has looked fine to good. You look at Gio in his last start, he looked great. Same team he just played against
2 starts, yeah.
No hits no hits and only 1 walk. I mean, Clevinger cannot find the strike zone. Clevinger cannot be consistent with his delivery. And you look at his delivery, it's messy, it's clunky. It's not a streamlined, efficient. They're just not efficient mechanics. It's just ugly. Like, I don't trust him at all. They should have re-signed Cueto. That's 100% right. I would have loved to see Cueto at least, give up a ton of home runs and stuff just because he's fun to watch. Clevinger, I don't get it. Johnny Cueto's got 6 pitches. I don't know if any of them are good, but he can throw all of them.
Cueto would have been like them signing Elvis Andrus, so we see how that has worked out. That's exactly what the signing would have been.
Yeah, but they're not bad because Elvis Andrus is slugging 258.
No, they're not bad because
Eloy Jimenez is slugging 238.
But I think that Johnny Cueto wouldn't have been good as he was last year. If you're depending on what Johnny Cueto did last year to come on the White Sox, and he's not pitching well down there in Miami right now.
He's only had 1 start.
He's only pitched 1 inning, and he gave up 4 runs in that inning.
Still bad.
Well, that is bad, but again, a little injured.
He'll be injured too.
Clev looked horrible today. And again, the worst part about all of this stuff is he went 3 innings. If he didn't look horrible, he wouldn't have been pulled after 3 innings. He was at 77 pitches. The reason they pulled him is because Jake Cave was coming up and Bryson Stott was 3rd. Those are 2 lefties that would have smashed him. Lefties were smashing him this entire day because he can't fool him. He doesn't have a changeup to throw him off. He did throw into the Schwarber, and Schwarber grounded out. And they were talking. Steve Stone was talking about how many homers Schwarber has off changeups. Like, I saw he threw him a changeup over the middle of the plate, and Schwarber didn't hit it out. I took a sigh of relief. Like, I don't think that this is anything from Clevinger at all. He seems like a 5th starter. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. He's a 5th starter.
Thank you, Jay Corona, for the compliment. And earlier, I saw Sleepy Harold with the line of the year. That was great. Go up a little bit, Steve, if you could. Sleepy Harold. White Sox going to win the DFA championship this year. Damn right, man. They have DFA'd so many people in Rick Hahn's tenure. When's it ever going to come back to him?
When he's going to get DFA'd?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you got to figure out.
Because what has he done?
What assignment?
In 9 full seasons, one playoff appearance?
Kevin's right. Team's going 150-12. Okay. Let's go. Book it. Heard it here, folks. We'll be with you tomorrow for our off-day show. We will be with you at 4 p.m.
No, 5:30.
5.
Yeah, I looked at the thing. It's 5:30.
That was the face I made, too.
Yeah, it's a weird time. I'm sure there's other things going on with the CHGO Cubs,
5:30.
Bulls, Blackhawks.
All right, friends.
Bears.
We'll see you at 5:30. Shout out to Husky Bardo for the super chat. ALC is trash. Oh, AL Central. And the White Sox likely hanging around. You feeling that?
I hope not. I hope the White Sox don't hang around. I hope they either shit or get off the pot. Either be really bad or really good. Being mediocre is what they've been their whole careers.
I think they'll probably drag it out until at least September.
Oh, that's
so I think
nice
it will
and
be
painful for all of
a
us.
painful, long death, like getting hit by a car and just slow response.
Like I said, if you're going to be bad, be the worst. Don't just be bad and just be, ugh. Because that doesn't help. That doesn't help anybody. It's a middle draft in the first round. Be bad and just go and get the first, second, or third pick in the draft.
I think they're 6th in the lottery right now. So,
Yeah, just be bad.
We'll figure it out.
Sell the players off. You know you're not getting fired, Rick Hahn. Sell them off. Sell off from pennies on the dollar. Sell off Eloy. Sell off whoever you want to. Let's just go really bad. And if we lose games, it's like we lost because we don't have the talent. Not that we lost because our players are not playing well.
Yeah, well, and I'm frustrated too. Like, I'm just thinking about it. Like, you see Vaughn, and it takes a while for him to kind of get settled and going. And I feel like that's the same with Robert. Like, I just got a feeling if you got rid of any of these guys that they become superstars on any other team. So it's just fine. Like maybe just hold on to them and
let them let them free
rock.
And let them be great. Let them be free because they weren't going to be great here. That's obvious. Eloy's never going to be great here, ever. Same thing with Luis Robert. He's not going to hit his Luis Robert potential. All these players, and that's why I say the Fernando Tatis thing is not Rick Hahn's fault. Firstly, he wasn't good at that part. He didn't play in the stateside at that time that he traded him to the Padres. And then secondly, he brought him here. I don't even think you hear about Fernando Tatis because he's in the minors forever trying to get good. Padres got him good and also some steroids. But you didn't hear that from me, allegedly. So I don't think that Tatis is the player that he is here. So it's because this development system that they have is not great.
Well, and Shea Fidel saying this isn't the NFL or NBA. The draft picks don't come in and help, which they don't. And also, for them to actually come in and help, you have to develop them.
Yes.
So, like, the White Sox can get, fucking Adley Rutschman and Bryce Harper and all these guys first overall or whatever. Doesn't mean they're going to be good.
I mean, there's a player on the north side they literally drafted 4th overall. 4th.
Well, they shouldn't have.
4th.
I mean, he was 5'8".
Yeah.
Played second base, and they're like, oh,
they told us all the lies that he was smart, fast, a good base runner. Baseball IQ was great, too. Like, that man is terrible. And also a catcher in the Cleveland Indians Guardians situation where we drafted him 10th overall in Zach Collins. Come on now.
He's just bad,
this just continues going on with the top 10 picks not doing well. Ian Happ is the 9th pick in the 2015 draft. Do you know who the 8th pick was, Sean? For the White Sox?
Fulmer?
Carson Fulmer. This is what I'm talking about. Carson Fulmer was one of the best pitchers at Vanderbilt. His teammate is Walker Buehler, who's now hurt. He's had a pretty great career. The White Sox get the pitcher who was better than Walker Buehler at the time and made him terrible. He's bad. Like, this is a continuing thing. Like, Andrew Vaughn is good. He's showing that he's a good hitter. But I don't think he's at the apex of where he should be at this time. It's because of the White Sox.
Well, and that entire draft is pretty bad. And the only 2 guys that I think are major leaguers that are still with their team, Minnesota Twins and Alex Kirilloff, and then Gavin Lux with the Dodgers. But, I mean, he's obviously dealing with injuries. But, that is kind of just a tough draft right there.
Yeah, I know that players don't immediately come up. Thank you, Shea Fidel, for the for schooling me on that. I know they initially don't come up and help the team, but I was saying that at least if you have minor leaguers and talent like, let's say, the Oakland A's, you can excuse that and say these players aren't talented enough. When we were going through the rebuild in 2017 through 2020, these players are not good enough, and we understood that. Now we're in a place where the players are supposed to be good enough, but they're not. Like, I would rather have players that are at least trying to get to the level of major leagues and failing because they don't have the talent there than the players who have the talent that are just failing because they're just bad at baseball.
Yeah, and I would be shocked if all of these guys are this bad at baseball. I think at some point they'll be over 500.
You would think so, but I'm not going to put my eggs in that. I wish it was a thing on DraftKings. I've been calling DraftKings up and say, hey, can I bet that the White Sox are going to be under 500 this year? What do I get? They're like negative 700.
And just because I think something doesn't mean it's actually going to happen ever. So, oh well. Anyways, Herb, you got any final thoughts?
The White Sox are bad. They're probably going to lose all the games in Kansas City. We'll be here on our off day show tomorrow. I'm very mad.
Paul Correct's going to go cry in the corner into his Ivan Calderon jersey. So, best of luck to you, Paul Correct, and thank you, everybody.
Rest in peace, Ivan Calderon.
Absolutely.
It's been dead for a long time. I think he got killed at his own gas station.
That's one way to go at your own gas station.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Ivan Calderon.
Peace up, Sky Point for Ivan Calderon. Thank you, everybody, for joining us in the chat, and make sure you hit that thumbs up button on your way out. My bad to fly the dub. That was on me.
No.
I shouldn't be rude to our guests.
I'm sorry, Fly the W, but you were trying to antagonize, and we just gave you back what you were giving us. Sorry.
It's just incorrect. It was infactual.
Yeah.
I gave the updated numbers, and I guess I did read off 749. Anyways, that's Herb Lawrence.
Appreciate you subscribing, sir, but doesn't mean you just can talk flippantly any whole way.
It wasn't that out of line. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at AcronRoll23.
Hey, call us on the wrong day.
On Twitter at CHGO _White Sox.
Catch us on a win.
I think that he's in the Cubs win right now because I think they're looking to.
Well, Cody's out there throwing something, so something must have happened.
I got Cubs money line. I got to go out there. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 5:30. Thank you to Stephen Nicholas for producing the show. And you can follow Vinnie Duber on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.